What if I told you that younger women often give subtle signals of interest, but older men miss them not because they're blind, but because they're too logical, too careful, or too disconnected from emotional subtext? Here's the Stoic truth. Attraction isn't about age, it's about energy. And while younger women may be drawn to your maturity, calmness, or presence, they'll never say it directly. They'll reveal it in timing, behavior, and tone. And if you don't know what to look for, you'll miss the very moment she was waiting for you to notice. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." And when a woman's attraction is unconscious, it leaks through her body language, not her words. Right now, you might assume she's just being polite. But if she does the 5 signs we're about to explore, she's not just interested. She's waiting for you to lead with calm intention. If you're ready to read the subtle signs younger women give to older men, they're quietly drawn to. Like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment. I lead with stillness, not assumption. Number 1. She's drawn to you, but you can't see it yet. When the winds of attraction blow softly, they are easy to miss, especially when you're no longer the youngest man in the room. You've built experience, wisdom, and calm, but in a world that worships youth, it's easy to believe those things make you invisible. The irony, they make you magnetic. You just haven't noticed it yet. Imagine a lighthouse in the distance, steady, still, never chasing, but always guiding. That's what you represent to her. Stability in a chaotic sea. The younger man might shine briefly like a flare, but you are the flame that doesn't flicker in the wind. The problem is, years of social programming have taught older men to doubt their value, to make light of their age, to assume that youthful energy is the only kind that draws attention. And in doing so, they miss the signs that a woman is drawn not to the surface, but to something far more profound. This is where Stoic philosophy steps in, not as a dusty concept, but as your anchor. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you believe your age is something to apologize for, you forfeit the strength earned by your years." You don't see that when she leans in to listen, mirrors your pace, softens her tone. It's not just politeness, it's respect, maybe more. Let's paint a scene. You're at a dinner event. A woman 15 or 20 years younger engages you in conversation. She listens, truly listens, laughs not out of courtesy, but in rhythm with your humor. She nods when you speak about lessons learned, not out of formality, but because she's absorbing every word. And then you say, half jokingly, "Well, that's just what happens when you're older." Right, a moment passes. Her smile falters, something in her energy shifts. You've reminded her not of your value, but of your insecurity. The tragedy here isn't her reaction. You didn't see the door she quietly opened. You closed it yourself. Stoicism offers a different path. It teaches acceptance, not as resignation, but as reverence. What you cannot change your age is not a weakness. It's the very pillar of your appeal. Emotional composure, life experience, and the ability to stay calm when others panic aren't qualities you learn at 25. They're forged in fire, and she sees them, even if you don't. Psychologically, this attraction makes sense. According to evolutionary psychology, women seek emotional safety, not just thrill. Younger women may find excitement in a flirtation, but find peace in presence. They respect the man who listens more than he speaks, acts with intention, and doesn't need to prove himself. You are that man, but only if you stop apologizing for it. So, how do you reclaim that power? Replace self-deprecating humor with dignified presence. Don't make age your punchline. Make it your platform. Observe her behavior, not just her words. Does she linger? Ask deep questions. Turn to your space often. That's not a coincidence. Reflect daily on your earned strengths, patience, discipline, insight. Write down 3 every morning. Let them reshape your self-image. Act with quiet confidence. Speak less, mean more. Let your composure do the talking. When you do, You stop seeking signs and start embodying why they appear. You stop wondering if she's interested and begin offering the space where attraction grows naturally. You are not past your prime. You are in your power. The only thing left is for you to see what she already does. Comment below, I lead with presence, not apology. Number 2, when she agrees with you, the hidden language of respect. A younger woman's agreement with you might seem polite, casual, or conversational, but if you're an older man, a deeper current flows beneath that surface. When she consistently aligns with your choices, echoes your preferences, and lets you take the lead, she's doing something far more meaningful than being agreeable. She's inviting you to lead. In Stoicism, we are taught to observe without attachment, to listen beyond words, and to act from calm rather than impulse. When you apply this lens to romantic dynamics, especially between older men and younger women, everything becomes clearer. The man who sees only surface politeness misses the real signal. This is not submission, but admiration. Let's begin with the psychology. In rapport theory, plating mirroring or softly aligning with someone's preferences builds connection. It's often subconscious. When a woman says, "I love Italian too," after you suggest a restaurant, it's not just taste, it's trust. When she lets you pick the music and doesn't interrupt your rhythm of conversation, she's yielding space not because she lacks opinion, but because she respects the frame you're creating. And that's the key word, respect. The younger woman isn't trying to be passive. She's showing that she values your presence enough to align with it. And if you're a Stoic man, you don't misuse that respect or dismiss it out of self-doubt. You receive it with grace. You lead with integrity. But here's where many older men falter. Conditioned by cultural myths, they interpret her alignment as immaturity, naivety, or simply courtesy. Worse, their insecurity about aging makes them default to self-deprecating humor or retreat from their interests. They think, she's just being polite, I'm too old for her. And so, they miss the moment. That moment, when she agrees with your view, lets you take the lead, or quietly follows your rhythm. It's her saying, I want to see what kind of man you are. She's handing you the emotional steering wheel. The only question is whether you'll take it not with arrogance, but with calm clarity. Here's a vivid example. You're at dinner. You mention that you prefer quiet places, and she nods enthusiastically. I love quiet cafes too, she says. Then, when the waiter arrives, she pauses and lets you speak first. Later, when the music comes on, she doesn't rush to change it. You might assume she's just easygoing, but if this happens repeatedly, if her energy flows in your direction, she's signaling something more substantial. Emotional trust. And this is where Stoicism becomes your compass. Epictetus taught, it's not events that disturb people, but their judgments about them. If you see her agreement as meaningless, you'll brush it off. But if you observe clearly, you'll see the intention she's aligning because she's comfortable in your energy. That comfort is the precursor to attraction. So, how should a Stoic man respond? Acknowledge without ego when she agrees with your choice. Smile gently. Don't boast. Say, I'm glad you enjoy this too. Simple, grounded, and respectful. Lead with intention. If she lets you choose, own the decision. Don't deflect. Say, I thought this place might suit us. Instead of, well, I wasn't sure if you'd like it. That shift in tone communicates strength. Open the door to her perspective. After she agrees, invite her thoughts. For example, I'm curious, what's your favorite part about Italian food? This turns her agreement into a connection. Avoid self-deprecating humor. Never deflect her agreement with, well, I guess I'm not that boring. These little jabs kill the dynamic. She's not laughing, she's wondering why you're insecure. Recognize the pattern. If this behavior repeats shared preferences, soft smiles, letting you lead, it's not randomness, it's a form of surrender. And with surrender comes responsibility. The Stoic does not manipulate this dynamic. He doesn't take her compliance as permission to dominate. He takes it as an opportunity to create emotional safety, where her agreement becomes not the end, but the beginning of the deeper conversation. Remember, Listening is power in a world where everyone talks over each other, and in a world of superficial connections. Alignment is intimacy. She's not bowing when she agrees. She's extending a hand. Will you meet her with depth or dismiss her with doubt? Let her see that your confidence isn't performative, it's earned. Let her experience a man who leads not because he's loud, but because he's grounded. Don't just hear her words when she aligns with you. Feel her presence. And most of all, don't flinch. Her agreement is her test, not of your authority, but of your emotional sovereignty. Comment below, I lead from calm, not doubt. Number 3, when she speaks intellectually. It's not just smart talk, it's a signal. A young woman doesn't quote Camus in casual conversation by accident. She doesn't mention Kierkegaard, avoid slang, or speak with philosophical nuance just to sound interesting. No, when a younger woman uses intellectual language with you, especially when you're an older man, it's rarely just a display of intelligence. It's a mirror held up to your depth. She says, I see the weight in your thoughts and want to meet you there. This moment is easy to miss or misread. Many older men, conditioned by self-doubt about age or status, assume it's performance, that she's trying too hard, or they get defensive, thinking she's challenging their authority rather than appreciating their depth. And because of that, they either dismiss the moment or ruin it with unnecessary pride. But a Stoic man sees clearly. He understands that when a younger woman chooses to step into your world of thought, when she shifts from flirtation to philosophy, from light talk to layered metaphors, she's not just talking. She's inviting you to see her as more than her age, and inviting you to open a door that most men never notice. Let's break it down. Psychologically, this form of communication is known as social mirroring with upward intention. She senses your intellectual or emotional maturity and tries to bridge the perceived gap by speaking on your level, not to compete, but to connect. It's a kind of shape-shifting where she molds her language and tone to resonate with your world. Imagine this. You're at a gathering. The group chatters about weekend plans, but she turns to you and says, I just finished rereading The Stranger. Something is haunting about how Camus treats absurdity like a form of clarity. She isn't testing your memory of the book. She's testing whether you're open to honest conversation, whether your maturity includes the willingness to see her not as a girl, but as a thinking being with something to say. The wrong response is to turn it into a debate, or worse, dismiss it with a joke about how long it's been since you read anything that wasn't the news. That moment dies right there. The Stoic response presents curiosity, clarity. Epictetus reminds us, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. When she shifts into intellectual language, it's not time to perform, it's time to perceive. Respond not with facts, but with questions. Not with a monologue, but a shared exploration. Here's how to recognize and respond to this hidden invitation. Notice her effort. Did she pivot the conversation from small talk to ideas? Did her tone soften, her eyes narrow in focus? That's emotional investment at work. Respond with engagement, not ego. Avoid correcting her or proving more profound knowledge. Instead, ask, what about Camus resonated with you? Let her express. That's where intimacy starts. Treat her intellect with respect. Even if her ideas feel raw or undeveloped, don't patronize. See the courage to speak up and reward it with attention. Avoid competitiveness. This isn't a classroom. You're not here to win the discussion. You're here to open a door. Let her walk through it. Anchor the moment with warmth. After a deep exchange, smile. Say something like, I enjoy talking to someone who thinks. That's validation, not flattery. When a woman tries to connect with you intellectually, she's extending trust. And trust is a fragile thread. It either becomes a bridge or snaps under the weight of your indifference. The Stoic man doesn't dismiss these moments. He honors them because he knows that in a world obsessed with speed and spectacle, depth is the rarest seduction. When you create space for her thoughts, You become more than a man, a sanctuary. And that's what she's looking for, whether she says it aloud or not. So remember, she's not quoting Camus to show off. She's whispering, let's speak the same emotional language. All you have to do is listen between the lines. Comment below, I meet depth with presence, not performance. Number 4, her seriousness is not distance. It's devotion in disguise. You used to see her as playful, lighthearted, bubbly, even. But now, around you, something has changed. Her tone softens. Her pace slows. She seems more measured, more composed, even more reserved. And if you're not attuned, you might think she's pulling away. But if you're a man of wisdom, if you're present, you'll realize this. She's not withdrawing. She's elevating the space between you. When a younger woman becomes more serious around an older man, she's not turning cold, but is conscious. She is stepping out of the frivolous and into the intentional. Why? Because she sees something in you that deserves respect. More importantly, she wants to be seen not as a girl to flirt with, but as a woman to be understood. This is where most men, even intelligent ones, get it wrong. They misread her seriousness as discomfort. They assume she's less interested. But a Stoic man knows better. He observes the stillness, not with fear, but with awareness. He sees that her emotional shift isn't absent, it's alignment. She's trying to match your energy, and that takes emotional effort. Psychologically, this behavior falls under social positioning. She consciously or unconsciously adjusts to mirror what she perceives as maturity. If you carry yourself with grounded strength, purpose, and presence, she instinctively tries to meet you there, not by being louder, but by becoming deeper. Her smile becomes more thoughtful. Her outfit becomes more composed. Her questions become more meaningful. And in that transformation, she's not playing a role, she's revealing a desire. I want you to see that I'm serious about this. But here's where Stoicism gives you the lens that most men lack. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good." When she becomes serious, it's your cue to look beneath the moment, not to overthink it, not to react with flattery or panic, but to meet her there, in that sacred space of shared presence. Let's bring this to life. You're at a group gathering. Everyone's laughing, drinking, and buzzing with weekend energy. But when she walks over to you, her voice lowers, her eyes focus. She asks something different. What do you think gives life meaning? After a certain age, you could brush it off, make a joke. But if you respond with calm vulnerability, peace, I think, the kind that doesn't need noise to feel alive, you give her a gift. You allow her to see herself in you, and vice versa. This moment is fragile. Handle it well, and it becomes the beginning of emotional trust. Mishandle it, and it evaporates, and she returns to lightheartedness, not because she wants to, but because she no longer feels safe in seriousness. Here's how to honor her emotional elevation. Acknowledge the shift. If her tone or behavior becomes more intentional, don't joke it away. Match her seriousness with presence, not pressure. Hold space, not expectations. Just because she's showing maturity doesn't mean she wants declarations. She wants recognition, not reaction. Speak from stillness. Your words don't need to be many. They need to be real. Let her feel that you're not afraid of silence or depth. Compliment her energy, not just her look. You seem more grounded today. I like that. It tells her you're noticing what most men overlook. Invite emotional honesty. Ask something meaningful in return. When did you start thinking like that? That question tells her you matter. This isn't seduction, it's sacred ground. Her shift in behavior isn't performance, it's preparation. She's preparing to be understood by someone she sees as more than a moment. Don't kill that moment by trying to be charming. Deepen it by being there. The modern world tells women always to be fun, always be flirty, always be light. But when she lowers that mask in front of you and becomes more serious, she defies the script. She's saying, I believe I can be more than entertaining. I believe I can be enough. And if you meet her there with calm, with presence, with sincerity, she won't forget it. because you won't just be the man who saw her smile. You'll be the man who saw her soul. Comment below, I see through stillness, not assumption. Number 5, she tones down her playfulness, and that's her loudest signal. She used to tell wild stories, laugh louder, mention that crazy weekend in Bali or the tequila-fueled nights with friends. But now, around you, her tone has softened. The party girl narratives are replaced with quiet reflections, instead of late-night chaos. She talks about slow mornings and her favorite books. Most men think she's just maturing. But a wiser man, a Stoic man, sees it for what it truly is. A woman choosing to be seen as someone worthy of your depth. This is one of the most misunderstood signs of female attraction, especially from younger women toward older men, because it doesn't shout, it whispers, and in its silence, it says everything. At first glance, it may look like she's censoring herself and holding back, but the truth is more revealing. She's intentionally curating how she appears to you, not to manipulate, but to align. She knows your energy doesn't vibrate on the same chaotic frequency as her younger peers. You're calm, composed, intentional, and to meet you there, she starts refining herself, not because you asked, but because your presence makes her want to. According to social compatibility theory, people subconsciously adjust their self-expression depending on whom they value and want to match. When a younger woman tones down her immaturity around you, it's not about pretending, it's about becoming. She's signaling, I'm ready for a different kind of connection. But here's the trap. Too many older men dismiss it. They think she's probably just trying to seem impressive. Or worse, she's hiding her real self. And so, they pull back, joke about how she probably wants someone younger, or they change the subject. In doing so, they sabotage the connection she's trying to build. This is where Stoicism provides clarity. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Your imagined doubt is the only thing between you and the emotional depth offered. Her transformation isn't artificial, it's admirational. She wants to be seen as someone you can respect, and maybe even build something real with. Imagine this, you're having coffee together. She used to joke about wild nights. Now, she says, lately, I've just enjoyed staying in and reading. Feels like I'm finally slowing down. That's not small talk, that's emotional rebranding. She's trying to show you she's not just fun, she's intentional. A Stoic man doesn't mock this, he doesn't respond with, "Oh, getting old already?" No, he smiles, leans in, and asks, "What are you reading lately that's made you think?" That's how you turn quiet attraction into trust. So how do you respond? With presence and discernment. Don't invalidate the shift. Meet her there if she shares something reflective. Don't revert to casual banter. Let the mood settle. Ask follow-up questions. Dive deeper. If she says she's spending more time alone, ask, what's that solitude been teaching you? Intimacy lives in that question. Reinforce her depth, not her past. Compliment her growth. There's a calm in you that's rare, that tells her she doesn't need to impress you, just be real. Avoid assumptions about her past. Don't mention old stories she's no longer referencing. Let her reframe herself. Let her reinvent. Share your maturity. If she's vulnerable about changing, meet her with your reflections. Let her know you understand the power of transformation. This is how attraction between generations works. Not in games or performances, but in energetic alignment. You become the sanctuary, the signal, the calm sea she seeks to drift toward. And she, in turn, becomes more of who she wants to be, not to please you, but to feel safe evolving with you. So next time she says, "I don't go out as much anymore," don't assume she's lost her spark. Realize she's turning down the noise to hear you better. And in that silence, she's hoping you'll say something tangible enough to build something lasting. Because a woman who downplays her immaturity around you offers something sacred, the chance to meet her in her becoming. Comment below, I honor the woman she's becoming, not the girl she used to be. Number 6, recognizing the invitation and responding with Stoic confidence. All the signs were there. She agreed with you not to flatter, but to follow. She matched your tone, presence, and language because she wanted to connect on your level. She quieted the noise around her to reflect the calm she sees in you. Yet many older men, tangled in self-doubt and outdated scripts about age and attraction, miss these signs, not because they lack awareness, but because they haven't been taught how to interpret them. Let's set the record straight now. When a younger woman respects your presence enough to slow down, think deeper, and reveal parts of herself she hides from others, she's offering more than conversation. She's offering a doorway into emotional resonance, and if you're wise enough, still enough, stoic enough, you won't rush through that doorway. You'll meet her there with patience, presence, and purpose. The most significant barrier between you and this connection isn't the age gap. It's your narrative about what age means. You think, she's out of my league, or she's just being nice. And in doing so, you invalidate her interest and your own worth. But here's the Stoic truth. Your value is not up for debate. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And if your thoughts are insecure, you'll sabotage the intimacy offered. If your thoughts are grounded in presence, self-respect, and quiet strength, she will feel it and she will respond. Think about the last few times you interacted with a woman younger than you. Did she agree with your views? Echo your language. Ask for your opinion. Did her demeanor shift when you entered the room? Did she mention her quieter hobbies? Or avoid the chaotic stories she once told? If so, you weren't just witnessing politeness. You were seeing a recalibration of energy, where she moves out of performative femininity and into authentic connection. But recognition isn't enough. You must respond with mature action. Here's what Stoic confidence looks like in practice. You don't chase compliments, but you don't deflect them either. When she admires your taste, you receive it not with arrogance, but with calm gratitude. You don't rush to label the connection, but don't play it safe by pretending nothing is happening. You engage slowly, thoughtfully. You invite her into your world, not by trying to impress, but by revealing what truly matters to you: art, stillness, purpose, growth. You let her choose how deep she wants to go, but you show her there is depth to explore. The man who lives with Stoic integrity doesn't fish for signs. He becomes the reason signs appear. And that's the paradox. The less you seek approval, the more magnetic you become. The quieter your mind, the louder your presence, and the more grounded you are in who you are, not despite your age. But because of it, the more irresistible you become to women who crave authenticity over performance. So what happens when you finally respond with confidence? She relaxes, she opens, she brings more of herself into the space. And suddenly, you're not dealing with games or signals anymore. You're building something rare, a connection rooted in presence and respect. That's the power of living from the inside out. Practical steps to reinforce this shift. Daily affirmation practice. Each morning, write down 3 experiences that have sharpened your wisdom. Let them remind you that you are not behind, you are ahead in ways she can feel. Slow, intentional interaction. Give her space to bring depth in every conversation. Don't fill the silence, let her rise into it. Reframe your narrative. When insecurity creeps in, replace "I'm too old" with "I've lived enough to love without fear." Invite meaningful activity. Instead of suggesting loud bars or crowded spaces, invite her to a gallery, a walk in nature, or a quiet dinner. Let the setting reflect your soul. Because at the core, this isn't just about dating, it's about becoming the kind of man who needs no justification, whose presence justifies itself. She's not waiting for a flashy display of youth. She's watching for the quiet strength of a man with nothing to prove and everything to offer. Now speak out and comment below. My calm is her invitation. My presence is the